received one slightly critical text and suddenly your entire body reacted like your life was falling apart? Me. You reread it like 14 times. You've analyzed every word. You decided they hated you. You're terrible at your job. For me, I'm like, oh, I should just quit my business, throw in the towel. This is never going to work. Yeah, that's not being dramatic, right? It may tell you something important about how your brain processes rejection. Okay. So I did this for a long time. I still do it. Okay. I just got an email the other day with someone critiquing something of mine, which is totally fine. I should totally be able to deal with that, especially as a business owner. And it totally ruined my day. Right? I was like, oh my gosh, like I suck. Why did I do that? I shouldn't have did that. Um, I just should quit my business. I'm never going to make it. It's never going to be good enough. This person doesn't like me anymore. They're going to not be my patient. Like, I don't know, is anybody with me? Am I alone out here in this world of rejection? Um, it's real, right? And it is. And today that's what I want to talk about, rejection sensitivity, or sometimes called RSD, right? Rejection sensitive dysphoria. And why, criticism, disappointment, or even a change in someone's tone can feel actually physically painful for us, in our neurodivergent, brains. This is also kind of a continuum, meaning that you don't have to always feel like this is like the end of the world and total rejection. This is kind of a continuum. Um, and I want to clear up something that I think social media kind of leaves out. It's this is this isn't like a standard DSM diagnosis, okay? But this is not something that we're making up either, okay? And that emotional dysregulation is very common in the neurodivergent brain and can be an extremely big, major source of impairment for us. Um, we need to hold two truths at the same time, okay? Because I'm always going to tell you real life, right? That even though RSD may not be a formal diagnosis, the intense emotional pain that people are describing is very real. Um, what does this look like, right? I kind of explained what happens to me. And as a business owner, um, and trying to produce something where I'm giving people health and longevity, it feels very personal to me and very attacked. I feel very attacked when somebody rejects something that I've done. And, it can look like that. You can receive criticism and immediately you could cry, become angry, shut down, want to escape, but it can be a little bit quieter than that. You may replay a conversation for hours because someone seemed less friendly than usual, right? You may assume a delayed text means someone is upset with you or they don't want to work with you or it's not going to happen. I just recently did that too. I was waiting to hear back about an opportunity and they didn't text, they didn't message. And I've determined in my head that they didn't choose me, that I suck, that they went with someone else who obviously is better. Okay. It may look like avoiding doing something. So avoiding like applying for a job because you can't tolerate the possibility of hearing no, right? You may become a perfectionist because making a mistake feels really, really dangerous to you and it's hard. You may people please, over explain, apologize constantly, right? Or work twice as hard. All of these things, by the way, are extremely emotionally taxing. Okay. Or you may reject people first because leaving before you they leave feels safer to you, right? And that's a part that often doesn't get talked about too, is rejection sensitivity doesn't always look like you're too emotional. Okay. It's like everything else in medicine. It's not just one thing, right? A lot of times it can look like professionalism and control and overachievement. And it sometimes it looks like the woman who never asked for help, because needing someone creates the possibility that they could disappoint us later. That's a tough one too, right? And sometimes it actually just looks like anger. Sometimes it looks like isolation. Because if you're the person that would rather withdraw than have to deal with that, that can become a thing too, right? So why does this happen? Like, why does this even exist, right? I'm all about the whys. I really believe that in medicine, we need to be more curious. Why does this happen? Why does his body do this? Why is it doing that? Why is our brain doing that, right? And here, think about this. Neurodivergence really affects our executive functioning, right? Our ability to motivate, to pause, to regulate, to organize, to shift, those types of things. So for some of us with, neurodivergence, emotions can arrive quicker and more intense. Um, and that our emotional reaction may happen before the thinking part of our brain has had time to kind of evaluate what's actually occurred. So a neutral or semi-neutral event can become a threat almost instantaneously. Like, so for example, your boss could say, "Hey, can we talk?" And your brain hears, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting fired. What did I do? I suck. I didn't do this on time," right? Or your partner becomes quiet, right? And your brain hears, "They don't love me anymore. They want to break up with me. They want a divorce, whatever," right? Maybe a friend didn't invite you somewhere, and then your brain could say, "Nobody wants me around," right? The story develops before we actually have the facts sometimes. And once the nervous system has identified danger, our body may respond accordingly. Our heart rate goes up, we have chest tightness, our stomach drops, you feel flushed, shaky, angry, right? All of those things are physiological processes that can happen when the nervous system is exacerbated or turned on, right? Turned on, so to speak. That physical response is one of the reasons why just stop taking it personally is like the worst advice on the planet. Don't take it personal. What does that mean? I don't know. I mean, like, put it in the comments. What does "don't take it personal" mean to you? Because I don't like that. That doesn't even help me in any way, shape, or form. Thanks, Susie, right? If that worked, we'd probably have done that already, right? Don't take it personal. And here's the thing, we also have to take our history, right? Our history into consideration. Many of us neurodivergent women grew up hearing that we were too loud, we are too sensitive, we're too forgetful, too disorganized, too much. Just calm down. Oh, just calm down. You're like, just, you're a lot, right? So we may have actually corrected far more often, right? We are getting corrected far more often than usually our neurotypical peers. So over time, our brain becomes highly alert for that next sign of criticism, right? Remember, our brains are like Ferraris, right? They're going and going and going and going. But we have a brake system of like a dusty, crusty, musty old Ford truck, right? So we're anticipating that next criticism, right? We're beginning to look for the rejection before it happens because that feels protective to us. So then guess what happens? If you're entering into midlife, hormones become a problem. And guess what? We're not sleeping as well. Stress is increasing. Our testosterone and estrogen are going down, which play a huge role on that prefrontal cortex. Um, and wow, the wheels can fall off, right? We literally have less like neurological capacity than we've ever had in our life. So our ability to do those things becomes a lot less. So rejection can feel a lot worse. And when we don't have that cellular capacity to mask, to pivot, to anticipate, it can feel like neurological shutdown and breakdown. And it can be tough. That can be tough, right? And so, what do we do? Pause, right? What do we do? Like, that's when we have to look at, is hormone therapy right for us? What are we doing for our mitochondria? How do we downregulate our sympathetic spiral of doom, right? We put both feet on the floor, we take a deep breath, we take a walk, we get up and do 10 air squats. Like, what are we doing actively for our nervous system? Because we have to try to take control back. Does that mean that we can perfect this? Does that mean that we should? I think the answer is no. I think the answer is we need to have a mechanism where we can separate facts from the story, where we can say, "Dr. Sarah, what do you actually know?" Right? What did they actually say? And I will actually take a minute. I'll take a deep breath. I do love the 10 squat thing. Get up, I'll do 10 squats, and I'll go back and I'll look at the message. And I'll give you that example of the one I got. So I sent out an email introducing new services that we had. And I got an email back from someone that didn't like the email, right? They said, this is distasteful. It's not on brand. Like, this is spammy. Why did you do that? Now, first off, whether the person should be saying that to me or not is a different story. But of course, my first response was, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Oh my gosh, I ruined my business. Oh my gosh, all these people are going to hate me. Oh my gosh, they're going to think I suck. Oh my gosh, I'm not on brand. And then what happened was I got 6 different messages from my existing clients, all wanting to sign up for this elite membership. So I stood up, I took a deep breath. I think I actually did 20 squats. And I said, let me go back and read this again. So I went back and I read it again and I said, okay, this is just one person who doesn't like my delivery. And that is okay. Not everyone is going to like us, you guys. I'm not for everyone. Not everyone that watches this is going to like me. And that's okay. You can watch someone else. And I want you to do that, right? I want people to become in my zeitgeist, my universe that feel connected to me. I don't need that to be everyone, right? We have our people, and that is what I want. I want my tribe. Okay. But I looked at that and I said, okay, this person doesn't like my delivery, but these people liked my delivery. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, this person, I thought to myself, I let myself clear my head and I thought to myself, okay, how do I bridge the gap between these two? We are never going to please everyone. And sometimes you have to look at the situation and say, do I even care? Right? Does this even matter to me? And it may not. And I think those are very important distinctions we need to make because we don't need to take everything on. If this doesn't matter to us, to our business, to our family, to our kids, who cares? Who cares what they say? Right? Who cares what they feel? Okay? So I said, do I care? And in this instance, I did care. And I said, how do I bridge the gap between these two things? Okay, without compromising myself, without feeling bad for what I did. Um, and that's where I found my solution, right? That's where I found my solution. And I find that being able to down regulate in that moment gives me a little bit of clarity. Now, am I perfect at it? Heck no. Right? Is there some things that I do? And my brain still went there, folks. Right? I still was like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. I'm a this, I'm a that. Everyone's going to hate me. They're not going to be my patients. And then they're not going to refer people to me. It was a freaking downward spiral. Right? But I was able to then stop, institute something. For me, it was squats. It will be something different for you. And I was able to then come back at this and look at this differently. Right? And say, okay, do I care? Yes or no? Because if I don't, bye-bye. And what am I going to do to go forward? Right? What am I going to do to go forward? And my resolution to that was that I'm going to address that person in real time, in real life, in front of me, and say, thank you for your feedback. I appreciate that. I'm taking that into consideration. And I will up my game, right? Because really what they were just saying is that they thought it wasn't as professional as it could have been. But I'm going to say, interestingly enough, I got a really good response from my patients, right? And maybe that is not something that I would send out to new people who aren't my clients to promote this, but my clients who already know me, who already trust me, don't need this branded perfect email, right? They just need me and what I'm offering them. And so that's my plan. That conversation hasn't happened yet, so wish me luck. It's going to be happening soon. But that's my plan for it. And that's what I want to give you today, which is this is real. This is something I deal with a lot, and I'm sure many of you out there do. What is going to be your stop moment? Your first question after that moment, which is, do I care or not? Does this matter or not? And then how do we move forward? I would love for you to share with me in the comments, share with us. Remember, we have to be a tribe. We have to do this together. if you've ever had moments like that and what you've done and how you've been able to walk back from that. Or how you failed miserably at walking back from that, right? Because that we also learn lessons in our failures. So come on, join us. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Remember, I always ask that you please share something that if anything felt valuable today or you identified with anything, please share it with a friend because it's the only way that we're going to make change. Come on over and join the Substack. The link is in the comment or the link is in the description. I'd love to have you as part of the tribe and share with me so I don't feel alone, okay? Until next time.